Well, so far we're unbeaten here in our first full season at Buxton. 4 games in, we've picked up 3 wins and a draw off the back of our opening game. In yesterday's episode today, we're going to take on 2 teams who we took on late last season when trying to keep ourselves up in this division. We take on Spennymoor Town inside of the playoff push, and then we take on Radcliffe team away from home, who are currently sitting about mid-table, just like they were last season. Fingers crossed here we can pick up some more points and keep ourselves on track for a playoff push this season in Rookie Girolamo. Hello everyone and welcome back to episode number 6 of Rookie Girolamo here on Shaun Does FM with Buxton FC. I hope you're doing well. Come up day, going to play a couple of games here. Still in the first month of the season, August. We're still unbeaten. Fingers crossed that continues as we take on Spennymoor Town up in 50 course. Late last season, we beat them on the final day to stay up when they were in second, and then they blew the playoffs, and then we'll take on Radcliffe, a team who held us to a draw at home, and only our second game in charge this time, though we are away from home. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. This does come off the back, though, of the transfers we did off the back of our first season here, and also the first game we did play this season against Warrington Town at the end of last week. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. I did pick up there a 4-2 win. Since then, our assistant manager actually suggested we went positive with our mentality on that fluid counter-attacking style that we are using in the next couple of games. And to be fair, it did work. First up, we took on Oxford, picked up here a 2-1 win away from home. Of course, this team, the one who were managerless late last season, but still beat Marine to make sure that we did indeed stay up. This was a game where we did need a very late goal there to Girolamo. I'll actually show you guys the goal that he did score, because to be fair, it was a bit lucky, but looking at those stats, I think we deserve the win. Well and truly the best team in this game. And here is the goal that was scored by Girolamo late on. You can see that it's a pass across the face of goal that just for some reason they don't pick up on, and Girolamo's there to put that one past Nunes. So thankfully, that's how we picked up all 3 points there in that away trip. So a good start there. We pick up a win on the road. And off the back of that, a bit more comfortable 3-1 over FC United of Manchester. Goals there to Jake Leek, Joseph Cunningham, and Girolamo again popping up with a goal, as you expect from the player, of course, who is on just under 1k a week. And again, he scored off the bench as we took on Boston United. This was our first serious test of the season. This 3-game block we're currently in, definitely the toughest games we've got here in August. Of course, these guys got relegated from the National League last season, and you could see the difference in quality. These guys well and truly were all over us during the course of this game. We did also have to rotate our squad a little bit here with some tired plays off back of those first couple of games that we did play. Brought on some big guns off the bench in Cunningham, Osborne, and Girolamo. To be fair, Cunningham and Girolamo, probably the big guns of those 3, but thankfully they had a big impact helping us score that 1 goal in the second half. And really, that was kind of the opposite of that game against Oxford that we just got away with a win from. We pinched there a draw away at Boston. So far, we have not lost the game, just those couple of drop points there at Boston. But to be fair, I don't think that's too bad a result considering they were up a division last season, and it does mean that currently we sit in 3rd equal with Braintree, just 2 points behind the only team currently with a perfect record in Chester, and just below us, that Oxford team that we did just beat, Spennymoor Town, who we're about to play, Lowestoft Town and Darlington currently in the playoff spots. But right there, you've got the likes of Kidderminster and Radcliffe, who we take on second ups, taking on here some pretty tough teams during the course of today's episode, but fingers crossed we can pick up some points and keep ourselves up there near the pointy end of this Vanarama National North League. But off the back of that last episode at the end of last week, I did say we were still looking for a centre-back and a central midfielder. Hopefully going to get a centre-back across the line during the course of today's episode in Fraser Kerr. Not really the player I was hoping to sign, but we continue to have centre-backs pinch for us as soon as we put a bid in for them. Other clubs decide I'll have a bit of that as well, which is super frustrating. Currently, he's underbid from us and Radcliffe. So hopefully, if we beat those guys second up in today's episode, we can get him across the line and complete our squad here with the Bucks, because we have signed an extra midfielder off the back of yesterday's episode. It's Caden Kelly. He makes his way onto the bench here to make a potential debut as we take on Spennymoor Town. He's formerly of Sunderland and Salford City. To be fair, only made 3 appearances there for Sunderland, but you can see they're a player with quite a bit of ability. 3.5 stars with 5 potential, and he does come in as a fringe player on £300 a week. But to be fair, actually, he does look a little bit better than Pavey, who we did bring in to start in that central attacking midfielder role for us. for this season. So he actually might work his way into the first team, especially considering he's being paid each week while Pavey is on a non-contract. But currently, he's not too used to how he play here in this Buxton team. So Pavey for now can keep his spot there in central attacking midfield to be fair. 7.44 average rating in the first couple of games of the season. No need to drop him. But that does just mean one more centre back, and I'm pretty happy with our squad here this season at Buxton. So far, so good. Fingers crossed that it does continue. In today's episode, also like in that previous game, having to rotate in a couple of positions. We've got Matt Yates there at right back instead of Cunningham, who's on a heavy workload and quite injury prone. So unfortunately, one change there that we don't really want to make, and obviously would be quite nice if we could sign that centre back to improve on Malachi Reeve. Still looking to do that even this deep into this new season, but hopefully our guys can pick up here a good result against the Spennymoor Town team, who we did beat relatively comfortably, it felt like, at the end of last season when they were all the way up in second, and we needed to pick something up against them to make sure that we did stay in the division. They did come back at us in the second half, but in the end it was a 3-2 win, which felt a bit more comfortable in game than it did on the scoreline. Their manager likes a 4-2, 3-1, and their form so far this season obviously is pretty good, quite similar to us, but instead of one draw, they suffered a defeat there to Chester, the only unbeaten team in the league. So this should be a pretty good game we've got coming up here. First up in today's episode, both games actually should be pretty interesting. Let's hope that our positive fluid counter attack these days can get the job done here against a quite good team. This is definitely the toughest one we've taken on so far this season, outside of Boston's. Hopefully can pick up a good result here. To be fair, not too solid in it so far. The results we'll be picking up with that positive mentality, not too much better than what we were doing with a cautious one. So we'll see how things go here during the course of today's episode against two quite good teams. If we pick up results, I think we'll stick with it like our assistant manager does recommend. Otherwise, maybe drop back to balanced instead of cautious. That might be a good little in between we can start off games with and then see if we go positive or if we stick with balance or drop back to cautious like we had there at the end of last season. But there we are, it's our home game up first. In today's episode, Yates at right back. The only change to our usual best 11 as well is the fact that the new signing, Caden Kelly, is on the bench, seeing as he's not too used to playing central attacking midfield. And there we're Spennymoor going with a very similar formation. So fingers crossed here we can beat them like we did last season. And hopefully we might get the chance to jump above Chester into top spot on that league table nice and early. And already we get a highlight here from the kickoff today. We are in the white at the Spennymoor, just like that game at the end of last week, who are in the blue with the yellow socks. Thankfully, just keep the ball there, but then a poor back pass does mean that Spennymoor do get back here on the attack, but thankfully a poor clearance does mean that Stobbs now will make his way forward, takes on a shot there from outside the box, but that one does go well over the bar. The first highlight, not up to too much, but early stages here does look like we might be on the front foot. I say that though, and we give the ball away there trying to find someone inside the box, but thankfully they try and work their way there out from the back, and we win the ball back there down our right hand side. Nice one over the top there for Stobbs, who will put that one away in the top left corner, but this time he strays offside. Unfortunately couldn't do it with that previous chance where he did stay on. So still 0-0, but early stages looking quite encouraging, albeit now there is a free kick here, and it is to Spennymoor Town. Taylor will put that one into the mix, and Musonda somehow will actually win that ball. Our goalkeeper stops it, but it goes back out to Corey McKeown, who will put that one away. That feels like a little bit of a duty goal to concede, because we definitely should have dealt with that danger off the back of the free kick here from Taylor, which did come off the woodwork. But for some reason, our defenders have a little bit of a holiday. They don't deal with the danger, and McKeown's there, right place, right time to put that one home. So unfortunately, we go 1-0 down here. To be fair, stats-wise, you'd actually expect that to be the case, despite the fact those first two highlights were in our favour. We've not been up to much, so it's a bit disappointing so far in this home game that we are behind. Fingers crossed we can turn it around. Let's encourage and see if that gets something out of these guys going in the last 15 minutes here of this first half. But so far, Spennymoor well and truly are all over us off the back of those good couple of highlights that we did have. Obviously, one doesn't count because it was offside there through Stobbs, but unfortunately, nothing doing late on there in that first half. We're 1-0 down at home so far. Haven't lost the game at home here in this save. Maybe that's about to change now. Will Truman doing okay, but has picked up a yellow card. Caden Kelly can do a job in midfield, so we're going to try him out there on his debut in central midfield instead of a bit further forward. And also Girolamo, not too hot today's figures, can come off the bench for him. A couple of subs here at halftime. The players that we did take off, not too happy there with our halftime team talk. You should play better then, because honestly, yellow cards and a 6.4, not too good, especially in a home game so far. We've got no shots on target, so definitely need to turn things around here in the second half. And still Spennymoor are on the front foot, but beefier so far the second half. Doesn't look like it's been up to too much. About to make our way to the final 25 minutes of this game. Fitzhugh as well as Stobbs on a 6.4, but we're actually going to take off here Leak on a 6.3 for Giblin, and also might just try and drop back to balance. As I said, not too convinced that going positive will work that well against these good teams. Now there's a corner here to Spennymoor. A brilliant save, I think that was from Truman, so a good chance there for them to make it 2-0, thankfully. Just deal with the danger there, thanks to our former Liverpool goalkeeper, and it's still 1-0. And now we go down the other end for a free kick of our own. Fingers crossed here that Kirby can put this one away. Forces a good save there out of Mitchell in goal. It's still 1-0 to Spennymoor, but all of a sudden, off they going balanced. We are showing a little bit of life here in this game now, Kirby, from that set piece. Unfortunately, no one home, because Spennymoor do head that one away. It does mean, though, we get another chance here from set piece. All of a sudden, turning things around here late on in this game at the nice time of 69 minutes in, but unfortunately, nothing doing there from that corner of chance here. Keen on the counter attack, but thankfully, that striker there offside for Spennymoor. And now we're back down the right end of the field here for a throw inside of the final third. Fitzhugh here will cut inside, picks out there Stobbs, who plays a ball through to Biggers, still looking for his first goal since we've come here, I'm pretty sure. But a good block on that one, though, from a Spennymoor defender does mean that we're still 1-0 down, but certainly pressing here for a goal late on in this game. And then yet again from the corner where we're looking far post, they hit it out. We get another chance now, but this time from the other side, it's Fitzhugh who will take this one. Puts it far post. Unfortunately, again, though, that one's a bit too deep, and Mitchell can come out and claim it. But definitely looking a lot more threatening since we've gone to balance. So maybe that's something we need to keep in mind for that Radcliffe game. We'll see how things do go. But now, with 10 minutes left, we probably should go positive and then attacking as we now make our way to the final 5 minutes. Unfortunately, just not showing much life here in terms of our attack. Only 2 shots on target, and they weren't very good ones. Spennymoor Town hand us our first defeat here of this new season, and also our first one at home since we've come to Buxton. So unfortunately, off the back of being pretty lucky to pick up that draw against Boston in the game before we came back for today's episode, we now suffer our first defeat of this season. We'll try and be kind here with the guys. Don't want that morale that we've built up quite nicely over the course of the last couple of months to drop down too much, and thankfully that team meeting didn't go too badly, but unfortunately that result does mean we drop down to 5th for now. Radcliffe, the team we take on second up in today's episode, are still down there though. In 10th they drew 1-1 with Kingsland Town. Not a great result considering those guys all the way down in 23rd, so fingers crossed we can pick up a better result in the second game of today's episode off the back of our first loss of the season. And we're back about to take on Radcliffe here in the second game of today's episode. Obviously, this was the team who held us to a draw at home last season, the only team who did manage to do that. Their recent form, though, has been a bit fair draws with Banbury and Kingsland Town. Also, they did lose to Chester before them, but obviously that was also the case with that team that we did just take on in Spennymoor Town. So to be fair, don't think that's too much of a concern for those guys. In terms of us, we have made just one change to our usual best 11. The fiery Ginger Hayden Lindley does come in for Captain Connor Kirby, who is on a heavy workload, quite injury prone. But that's our only change. It does mean that Cunningham does come back in at right back for Yates, who was okay in that first game. There, Radcliffe a good start, but since then their form has gone off the boil just a little bit. But to be fair, we're in a little bit here of a similar situation off the back of that loss we did just suffer to Spennymoor. Very disappointing that that happened in front of our home fans back at the Silverlands, and before then kind of lucky with that draw that we did pick up against Boston, who are just below these guys on the table. So a little bit surprising that Boston are so low down, but fingers crossed here we can put out a better performance. I'm sticking with the positive mentality, even though it felt like balanced, did a better job late on in that previous game. We'll see what happens here away from home. Malachi Reeve picks up a yellow card, not ideal, already one of our centre-backs, who is sitting on a yellow card, still waiting to see who Fraser Kerr does sign for. And of course, he's deciding between the two teams in this game, so maybe it's a bit of a Jude Bellingham situation, like the Champions League final a few years ago with Real Madrid and Liverpool. But the first chance that he does score, I think that was the Kwanzaa for the home team, but thankfully just puts that one over the bar. Quite similar to early chance that Stobbs had in the previous game. Still 0-0, but not much action early in this one. Go forward to the half-hour mark again, though. It is the home team on the front foot. O'Brien there with a decent chance, but thankfully that one comes off the woodwork. Doesn't quite make its way over the line, and we can clear it away for a corner, which O'Brien is going to take. He puts that one near post. Riley will win that one, but thankfully can't direct it anywhere near the target, and we are still locked up at 0-0, but certainly struggling a little bit more than we had in the games prior to this one. Going in to today's episode, apart from that Buxton game, as I've said a few times now, we were quite lucky, but now we get a chance there. Pavey runs onto that one quite nicely. Unfortunately, though, can't direct that header goalwards. A couple of chances now for both teams from those headers, but unfortunately, we can't take ours. It's still 0-0, but lots of action here happening around the half-hour mark. Riley now starts to make his way forward there down the right-hand side for Radcliffe. Floats that one far post, but thankfully Buckley Ricketts will head that one over the bar. So far, lots of headed chances, but neither team able to put them on target. So far, they've been going over the bar by quite a distance. Stats-wise, we're definitely a team here on the back footers. Now Stobbs picks up a yellow card on a 6.3. To be fair, some of those ratings in attack, not too good. Him and Pavies, maybe a couple of subs coming up here at halftime, especially if they put that chance away. But thankfully, Truman comes up there with a big save. Somehow, this might be locked up at 0-0 going in to halftime. Matlock will put that one into the mix. They try and flick that one on there towards the far post, but thankfully, we actually can get something going here potentially on the counter attack. I'm just going to switch to balanced off back of this highlight as long as it does stay 0-0 and nothing else funny happens. But actually now we're the team here on the front foot. Truman will pick out the leak in space down the left-hand side. Fitzhugh will square that one for Charlie Pavey, who picks up his first goal as a Buxton player. And off the back of that, maybe we'll go back to positive because we actually scored a goal. Wasn't expecting that considering all the highlights there that Radcliffe were getting in their favour. But good work there to find players in space down the left-hand side, and Fitzhugh, a nice ball. Pavey just in behind the defence there and can put that one away in the bottom right corner past Bevan, and somehow going to go into the sheds here with a 1-0 lead. Definitely FMing these guys a little bit currently in this game now. What can we do with these yellow carded players? Cully can kind of do a job anywhere on the field, as can Pavey. I think here that what we might do is move Pavey to right wing off the back of that goal that he did score. Definitely saved his rain going in there to halftime. Caden Kelly can come on in central attacking midfield. No sub for Malachi Reeve because unfortunately our other backup centre back in McElhenney is away on Irish under-21 duties. So unfortunately he's not available for this game. No centre back cover on the bench, but it looks like here that Radcliffe going to try and get back into this one nice and early in the second half. They float that one far post. Thankfully, Reeve does hit it away. Now Fitzhugh gets a chance to get us going down that left-hand side, but unfortunately, a little bit there of a loose touch does mean that Riley can win that ball back for Radcliffe here. He'll definitely be feeling a bit hard done by so far in this game. They start to make their way here into our half row. Nice ball for there to Buckley Ricketts, who forces a good save again out of Truman. He's definitely having one of his better games here so far at Buxton as the former Liverpool man. Now O'Brien will float this one far post. Cunningham will head that one away. But again, it is for a corner to Radcliffe. So they're putting some pressure on us here early in the second half. Maddock there will put that one into the mix. So thankfully Fitzhugh can clear that one away. And it does bring that highlight to an end. Off the back of that, we might just drop back to balanced with this 1-0 lead, because definitely feels like it's a bit of an FMing currently in this game, despite the fact that we actually got the higher XG. We're definitely not doing as much on attackers now. It's a free kick there to Radcliffe, and Riley goes very close, nearly curves that one inside that right-hand upright. Thankfully, somehow, still 1-0 in front here. And now we're going to make another sub, because unfortunately the fiery Ginger and Hayden Lindley not on fire down to a 6.4. Our captain Connor Kirby can come on for him. And right after we get that happening, we have a free kick. He's on the ball earlier, plays it back to Easton, our senior centre back. Now there, that's Leak, who plays the ball over the top of Fitzhugh, who'll pull that one back there for Caden Kelly, who sweeps it home and makes it 2-0. We just drop back to balanced. Maybe that's what we stick with here these days with this Buxton team, because certainly looking a little bit better in these games today with that balanced mentality. Damn positive, but that's a really good impact there. As soon as Kirby comes on, we score a goal, we make it 2-0, with, I'm pretty sure, just our second shot on target. So despite the fact we've been well and truly second best in this game so far, we've created 2 really good chances and we've taken them. Let's see if we can keep hold here of a clean sheet. To be fair, with some of the bonuses for those non-contract players, that we do have a clean sheet might actually be worse than if we conceded one. But again, a good chance there for Radcliffe. But Truman comes up with another decent save. He's having a good game there in goal, the former Liverpool man. And now again, it is Radcliffe here who are on the attack. Clements there makes his way forward down the left-hand side. They take on a shot, and that one comes off the woodwork. It's still 2-0 to us somehow. They're all over us here in this game, just not quite able to put the ball in the back of the old onion bag, and now about to make our way to the final 20 of this game. Leak, who's had a pretty good game out there on a 7.1. We'll take him off here for Giblin, another one of the former Liverpool men in our team. But looking okay here for a bit of an upset win considering how poor we have been. We actually get there a third shot on target finally. Now we make our way into the final 10 minutes. Time for us here to start time wasting just a little bit. So hopefully Radcliffe don't create too many more chances, because they've definitely been all over us so far in this game. Just not getting the same fortune that we got in that Buxton game before we came back for this one.
Yeah.
But not good news there. Girolamo forced from the field with an injury. So what we're going to do here, Caden Kelly onto a shadow striker late on here. In this one also, let's start the time waste more frequently and stop running at the defence. To be fair, I'm pretty sure that's all we can do, but that could be quite a big injury for us. Our highest paid player there goes off the field late. We also go back to cautious, considering that there's 5 minutes of added time. A late highlight here to Radcliffe, a goal kick, which they do keep the ball from. Surely with a man advantage, they'll fancy their chances here of picking up a goal. They definitely deserve one from the effort so far in this game. But good work there from Reeve to win that ball for us in the air. And at the moment, just looking to keep hold of the ball here down our left-hand side. But again, Fitzhugh, a little bit sloppy on the ball, but a poor pass there does mean that Kirby can win it for us. But then he loses out. Greenfield plays that one forward there to Owalabi, who puts it away top left corner. But thankfully, he did straight offside. So we are just going to stick with what we're doing here, still somehow with a 2-0 lead. And that's a pretty big FM we've just dished out there in that second game of today's episode. Most of the highlights that we did see, well and truly, the second best team in that game. But thankfully, the chances we did have were high XG, and we made the most of them there through the 2 goals that we did score. But concerning that Girolamo injury, hopefully that's not too serious, because Viggers has not scored many goals, if any, since we've come here. And then we're dropping down to some players from our youth intake last season to come up if that injury is too serious. But thankfully, we somehow pick up a win there, despite clearly looking the second best team in that game, and move all the way back up to third on the Vanarama National League North table off the back of that pretty fluky 2-0 win over Radcliffe. So not the best performances during the course there of today's episode, but we do pick up 3 points from those 2 tricky games. We actually won the away one and lost the home one. A little bit more disappointed actually about the performance in that second game, but we still won. So a bit there of a weird episode. Somehow Fraser Kerr's decided off the back of that to join Radcliffe. To be fair, if he watched the game, which I imagine he did considering the decision that he has made, I kind of get it, because Radcliffe did look like the better team, but it does still mean we're on the search for another centre-back here at Buxton. It's been going on now for a couple of months. Lemon clubs, as soon as we try and sign someone, they go in after them themselves. So unfortunately, still looking there for a 4th choice centre-back, which is definitely key with McElhinney away on international under-21 duty. We will check out before we wrap things up for today's episode how serious that injury is to Girolamo. It's not great. 4 to 7 weeks with a groin strain. That could be quite a bit of football here with Buxton in the Vanarama National League North. They do compete the games up quite a bit here at times down at this level. 4 to 5 weeks once we've sent him the physio, but that could be quite bad. Our highest paid player is out for at least a month, you'd imagine. So hopefully we get through this next stretch okay without him, and someone like Ryan Viggers can finally step up into that backup striker role, because so far I'm pretty sure he has not scored a single goal since he's came to the club. He's actually transfer listed. That's how poor he's been. 7 goals in 29 appearances, but I'm pretty sure that none of those have come since we've got here, and a 6.4 rating so far this season, so fingers crossed that Viggers can pull finger. Otherwise, we might struggle while Girolamo is out with that injury. But that will do it for today's episode. Not too bad. We keep ourselves there up near the top of the Bannerama National League North table, 3 points behind Chester, who still are the only team yet to lose a game. If you enjoyed that episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll just check out what's going on back in the schedule. I'm pretty sure we start to kick off FA Cup qualification rounds. That's quite big for clubs down at this level. We start off there in the second qualifying round. We'll see who we take on at that stage. It could be an easy win for us, but to be fair, the further we go into competition like the FA Cup, the better it will be for our finances. So actually going to take those cup games quite seriously, try and go as far as we can. And hopefully, once some Premier League clubs start to make their way into that competition, we might get a chance to pinch some money off them if we get a big away tie. So definitely going to focus a bit on the FA Cup for the next couple of episodes here with Buxton. And also, Braintree Town's supposed to be quite a good team away from home. They're in 8th, but that game might come up a bit too soon. So again, we might be coming back to take on a team we took on late last season. Kidderminster Harriers are up in 4th, and that one again is away from home. So I dare say we'll come back there for that double header in mid-September. Hopefully by then too, finally, we'll have rounded out our squad here with a centre-back that actually does want to join us. But we'll come back tomorrow, get stuck into some FA Cup qualifiers, and also take on Kidderminster in the National League North. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.